everybody. Welcome, man. This is Offbeat. This your host, Jack Analog. Today we have a special guest, my man, Soulful Loops. You know what I'm saying? Quick story before we get to talk. My first beat battle, right? I walk in, I'm by myself. I don't know nothing. I don't know what's going on, what type of music they gonna be playing or nothing, right? So, I go to the bar, sit, get a little food. This dude walk up to me with a backpack, right? And he like, yo, you make beats? I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? And we just started talking and, that's how we developed. And that guy was Soulful Loops, man. How you doing today?
I'm great, bro. How you doing, man?
Yo, just maintaining, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this show is about, what, producers go through outside of just making the beats and like, kind of what drives them, how they go about, what they do. So I always like to ask my producers the first question, which I feel like is the most important thing, right? What first inspired you to like start making music? You know what I'm saying? Start making beats.
Man, just being around music, listening to music when I was a kid, since I was like a little toddler, going to church, you see the people on the organ playing.
Mm,
The organist is your homeboy, you know, your other homeboy play drums. So this
mm,
growing up, going to church, then natural progression from that was I think I seen one of my homies on my block with a copy of Fruity Loops.
mm.
He showed me that. That had to be in like, I don't know, ninth, maybe 10th grade. And then uh I say around 11th grade, I was able to get like a hand on Fruity Loops, and then I downloaded it on my mom's computer. Start making beats when ain't nobody using the computer. You know what I'm saying? Man, but what that's a tricky question. What inspired me? Just life, being around music and wanting to make it.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Producers or like music from like because I was in the band too. So I was like, I don't know. I'm missing a whole bunch of big details.
Yeah,
But
hey man, that's fine. You know, as a I understand that kind of as a producer, your inspiration it changes, right? Because you don't make music the same way you did 5 or 10 years ago, however long you made music, right? So your inspirations kind of gradually change, but like I know for me, right? Like I always kind of was I could write. I was good with words. Like I used to write poetry and stuff like that. And somebody asked me could I rap, and I don't know. I was a hip hop dude. I used to break whatever, so I was like, yeah. So I threw a shot at it. Next thing you know, I'm doing little joints here and there, and then uh, but I was also messing with a reggae band, right? So my man Malik, uh, he had a EPS 16. You know what I mean? The keyboard, and he had a bass guitar. He's a bass player, right? So he hooked it up, played like three notes, three bass notes, and went to the EPS and started playing this bass line. And I was like, wow. And that was, for me, that's what made me, because I didn't even see nobody do nothing like that before. So that's what like made me like, yo, I want to do that. You know what I mean? But since then, it's switched, it's changed. You know what I mean? Like a lot. So, so what would you say, whatever tool that you use, like, what tool was like the hardest thing that you had to like kind of overcome? You know what I'm saying? As far as like in your workflow, you know what I'm saying?
two was the hardest to overcome. You mean like
Whether it be some type of workstation like an MP or a SP404, or if like you deal with software like a certain plugin or a certain sound library. Like, it's so many different elements we use to create music, but like it's always that thing that's like it's tough or it give you some problems. It give you more problems than like every other tool that you use. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would you say most difficult tool to use? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna go off the wall with this one and say my hands and my mind.
Mm,
Like Fruity Loops, Reason, NPC machine, all those are like they're basically just like calculators. You feel me? What's really the main tool you gotta I feel like I had to wrestle with is my mind or like my hands for my playing actual like the keyboard is a tool. So like having the mind to actually use that tool is like the main thing,
mm,
not the tool itself. So I think the tool is here. Like if you can figure out how to, think correctly, if that makes any sense musically, then
right,
you can sit in front of Fruity Loops, Logic, Garage Man, and it works.
right,
That's
right.
just the main tool. But that's kind of like a, too deep answer. But if you want,
No, no, I wouldn't say. I would say it's a perfect answer because, um, no, I asked you a question and you answered it. Uh, Not in the way I thought, but I mean, it's the truth because what I say is that, I can make a beat on the MPC. I can make a beat in Logic. I can make a beat on Koala on the phone. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I'm my thing is it's not the tool, it's the user. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get whatever tool you got to do whatever you need it to do, but you have to know how to do it. So that's a beautiful answer to me, bro. Hey, that might be you might get top beat, you know what I mean? You get top beat for that answer, dog. Word life. So I would ask you, what types of tools do you use to like promote and market your music, or what type of moves do you make? You know what I'm saying? What things do you do to get your music, you know, outside of your lab? You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Shoot, other people. That's like the simple answer.
I mean, so so you say other people, right? But like, how do how does that work?
Word of mouth, Instagram. To be real, I gotta step my game up. That's one of my goals this year. But they have all types of platforms now. Twitter, I mean not Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. But me personally, I'm just using word of mouth, face to face, and Instagram.
So when you say face to face, what do you mean by that?
Just like how I met you. You said I met you at a beat battle. To me, it was just another Tuesday because I'm constantly in face to face type of things because I feel like it's better for creating relationships with real people. Like I take 1,000 followers on Instagram, but no for real 200 people that have 10,000 followers, and you only got like 10 people to bang with you.
Hey, I'm I feel the same way because uh the social media numbers, to me uh they represent a following, but then uh you know, you do breakdowns, right? Like let's just say for example, you decided you know, you got this fresh Soulful Loops bucket hat, you know what I'm saying? And you put it out there, you know what I mean? You got 1,000 followers, right? 2%, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So what's that? Maybe 20? am I doing the math right here? I know it's not 200. That'd be 20%.
What you
So
said? Say it again.
like out of 1,000, if you got 2%, that'd be like 20, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Right. So, but if you sold the bucket hat for, let's just say 20, right?
yeah.
What's 20 times 20?
$400.
So that's that's how I look at social media numbers. You know what I'm saying? I don't, you know, and unless you're like, utilizing like YouTube and getting content and gaining subscribers, you know what I mean? Because people are getting paid that way, you know. Other forms of social media, my thing, I try to get the a percentage, like I was just talking about, over to like YouTube and eventually, paywall platforms, possibly like Pantheon. You know what I mean? There's others out there as well. So, what would you say to you, like in 2026? What would you say to you when you start making beats? Like, when did you start like really thinking about like, yo, I'm really trying to start making music? Like, whatever age that was, um, what would you tell that guy now with your current experience? You know what I'm saying? Or what would you tell somebody else in that age or that stage, where they just getting started? What advice would you give them?
Mm, learn an instrument and like really stick to it.
Mm,
That's probably what I would tell myself 20 years ago.
mm. Yeah, that's
uh,
heavy.
yeah. Besides that, um, just focus on systems. I mean, I'm sure I would be further if I like started thinking like that earlier, like system. Like when it comes to like making your track, once you got your style, like you should be able to just turn on whatever you use and just get straight to it. Not necessarily that you got to be fast and sloppy, but it's just you know what you're doing, so you just get right to it.
Right. Well, fast does not necessarily mean equate to sloppiness. The sloppiness is in the process, right? But
Mhm.
um, you know, to be able to do something faster, I would say that's efficient, right? So you're trying to be efficient in your workflow. So anything you can do to expedite the process to where all that's left for you to do is be creative is the goal. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because some people already have teams that come in, so all they have to do is be creative. You know what I mean? But people on our level, we got to deal with all that other stuff if you want that level of production. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how that goes. You know what I mean? You being in a band, I mean, you can play the trumpet all day, but it's gonna take other instruments to come together with you, all playing right to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so yeah, man. Uh, that's some good insight, bro. That's some real good insight.
It's just
What's your weapon of choice?
right now we rocking with the I got the SP404 MK2. I got all the SPs basically except for the 808 and the 505, 555. And the MPC. So that's what I'm working with now. I still got my FL Studio. I know people just be hating on FL, but FL is definitely the wave. But Right now, I'm mostly on the MPC and the SP.
I mean,
You know,
uh, I
rolling,
don't.
you know,
I know that I know FL is kind of the standard now
you
in a
gotta
lot of
know it.
ways. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you gotta know it.
Right. But like, you know what? It'll be interesting, right? Because I know Fruity Loops ain't just, you know, I know they got their lane, right? But I know they see this uh live performance gear revolution, and people, and it and I mean like we know because we outside, but
Mm.
the outside they want is the online, they want people online tapping
Being that
pads, you know what I'm
they're gonna
saying?
have it like a game, like where you could log in and be in like a room with other producers.
Oh, I mean, there's spot, you know what I mean? Like,
That's kind of
I
fun.
got Discord set up. You can come in, you know what I mean? I've actually promoted that, to no avail, but yeah, I mean, there's ways to do that.
What you mean, like us collab? Like if I pull up my screen and you pull up your screen, and somehow we could just like I could add notes to your piano roll.
You have
That
well,
would
you could you could see stuff like that. You could do on like Band Lab, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could,
yeah.
and I believe you can go in and we could be on the same session, but like, I could throw a joint in, like throw you know, some drums and maybe a sample or something, or maybe just some drums, and then you go in and then you run the chops, you know what I'm saying? And run the bass line or whatever. Like, yeah, it's quite a few programs now, man, that you can actually collab. They actually got programs that producers collab on, actually add their credits. So like when they get the final bounce, like all of the producers' credits are in the metadata. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
So
but when it's okay, now I'm like looking at it. So like in band labs, do the two people need to use the same software like outside of band?
no, that is the software. You know what I'm saying?
So you can make music inside of band lab.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yep.
okay. So you can like sample and everything. That's not.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't, I know
I
people
never.
that don't even have any type of that's their software. That's what they
I
use. You know what I'm
never
saying?
even
Like they don't
heard of
have Fruity Loops or anything.
it. Damn, I learned something new every day.
But
Man,
yeah, man, hey, I just want to close with you, man. You kind of gave me an idea. I might, I'll talk to some of the producers, but like, maybe, at the end play a little joint. But you know, there's so many different platforms and ways for people to play. I'm I'm more into getting into the background of producers and like you know the what's and the whys. You know what I'm saying?
what you mean?
Um, like like what does it take to be a producer? You know what I'm saying? Like there's I've me personally, I've been, we bought that Triton in 1999, you know what I'm saying? And, there was a point in time where I stopped making music. I still had gear, but I had stopped, you know what I'm saying? I ain't had no interest, you know what I mean? Then my wife asked me one day, why you stop making music? I was like, I don't know. I ain't had no reason. Cause she was like, well, so I started buying stuff again and boom, you know what I'm saying? Back, I'm here. This where I'm at. So, um, it's part of it for me is not explainable, but then also there's a part that knows that, yo, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And like I've went through all types of different phases, right? Cause I didn't want to make music in the box. I was in that era. So I had to break that. And then, when you start going into this computer, you gotta know computers, man. You know what I mean? They break down. you lose hard drives. So now you got to start learning certain things. So it goes beyond just tapping pads and being creative. You know what I'm saying? Because if your hard drive shut down, you can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or if your MP screen don't work, you bust it. You know what I'm saying? Or if your output's not working on your SP, what you gonna do? So you gotta there's there's other aspects to the production game, the maintenance side that a lot of people don't really think about. You know what I'm saying? When they get
Mhm,
in, they just see, oh man, $200, I can buy Fruity Loops, boom. But when you start making music and you start doing things, you're gonna see what type of computer you got now. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So those are the things I'm trying to uh get out there because uh,
You gotta have make
I
sure
mean you
you
can
get
do this for a hobby, but it's people doing it seriously and they taking time and they really um, you know, getting up on their craft like yourself. And I just want to let people know that, hey, this is not just some stuff where, you get an hour break and, make some music right quick. Nah, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot more to go into it. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's a fact. You gotta touch pads every day, touch keys, touch pads, strings, whatever it is, you gotta do it every day, even if it's just a little bit.
Right. Respect.
Yup.
Well, yo, man, I like to thank you, man, for coming on, man. I really appreciate your time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I know you'll be rocking out. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
I know
happy
you'll be.
birthday too, bro.
Hey, yo, respect, man. Hey, before I go, I would like to say, heavenly happy birthday to my pops. You know what I'm saying? He was born on the same day as I was. You know what I'm saying?
Dang, that's dope.
So yeah, respect the pops, man. Love you, bro.
That's
You know
crazy.
what I mean? But yeah, man. Once again, I'd like to thank you, man. You know what I mean? Soulful Loops. You know what I mean? Catch him at your next battle or showcase. I believe you're doing plug and play tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I'm pulling up.
Yeah. Yep. So Uh, y'all check that out, you know what I'm saying? And once again, I'd like to thank you for coming on, man. And yeah, man, take care, brother. You know what I'm saying? And
Appreciate you,
as
bro.
we as we always end it, you know what I mean, with the Bumba Clyde.
Clock.